right, welcome back, commissioners, to the work session. Back to you, Chair Harrington.
Thank you, Clerk Moss. We're back in work session and we have board and leadership communication as well as consideration of a draft letter. Who would like to go first for board communication? I will. Thank you.
Yesterday I had a meeting with the stakeholders at West Slope Library and Garden Home Library to talk about the potential there. It was a really good meeting, and it's nice to be in a group of community representatives that are passionate and understand the reasons why they're trying to work toward a positive outcome. So, and I will keep you updated as we move along through that, but we can be proud of this group. There's no question about it. So I'm pleased to say that. I know that Danny has been very involved, and Lisa Tattersall has done a great job there as well. So I just want to let you know that. Last night was my first ACRE meeting as co-chair. The meeting went very well. We had a presentation from Joe Wall, who is leading the recruitment for OEICE leader. And the process was to get information from ACRE members about the characteristics that they'd like to see in a leader. So it was really good, very interactive. Joe did a great job of leading that discussion, and I was personally very pleased with that. We elected our community co-chair, and that person is going to be Lillian Tsai. So she will start as co-chair at the next meeting. I remember. Yes, she's great. And then also Danny gave a very good update on the budget equity tool and how it's used and what the process is there. So it was a good meeting. Let's see. Next week I have AOC on Monday, and I want to talk to you about planning about who, if we're going down, what's that? You're not going down. Okay. And then next week I'll also have the Impact Coordinating Committee meeting, and North Bethany County Service District for Roads Committee meeting, and the Art Hill meeting on Friday. That's my report. Woohoo.
Back on ACRE and the recruitment, since ACRE advises the board, will the draft, I assume the characteristics is part of the job description or job brochure, will that be coming to the board?
Can I clarify? It was actually questions. So like, what would you be curious about in interview? What should staff look for? The profile stakeholder input has been complete, which the board was provided if your schedule allowed. So it's just asking for what should we ask questions about?
Thank you for clarifying.
And that position
Correct.
Was as it was last night.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
And there was acceptance of that role.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you very much.
And appreciation for just being asked.
Yeah. Will there be ACRE members involved in the interview panels?
Yes, there will be a community panel, just as we've done with other directors and ACAs as well.
Yeah. Thank you for the reminders on that, because I haven't been tracking it as well. So
I also want to tell you that it was an interesting process when they nominated the co-chair. They started with 5 nominees. And then, and I'm not going to tell Brad what I was suggesting we do, or you may have already heard.
Something we couldn't do. Huh?
Exactly, and I was corrected. So I just stand corrected. But anyway, the point is that they had 5 nominees, 2 declined to participate, but there was a really positive interaction with the team about we could have just about anybody in this role. So it was very supportive and very good.
Excellent.
Worked out well.
Yes. And I want to thank as well Commissioner Willie for joining you as one of the 2 board liaisons. That's great. All righty. Who wants to go next?
I can go next because a lot of my updates last week were focused on internal staff meetings, so I won't go into it, but just to highlight, to say thank you to all the staff who have been meeting with me thank you for all the briefings you've done. I did have one outside external meeting last week, last week. And that was the RAC committee, the Regional Arts Culture Council.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to skip the culture part. Uh, everybody is nervous. They've seen our budget forecast. So everybody is sort of saying, oh, Washington County, you're in another budget situation. Are we going to get our funding? So they had that meeting. They're very understanding of where we are and how we've been problem solving. So it was a really good meeting. It wasn't like, give us our money or keep funding us. It was more, we understand you. Here's all the reports we put together. Here's what we're doing to identify other fundings. And here's what we expect from Washington County. But it was a really good meeting. And next week, a busy week ahead. So I'll have more to report. I do have AOC, but I will be going there in person. 8 a.m. That's the first meeting for HHS steering. That was just mentioned for sympathy reasons. 8 a.m. But I do plan to attend there in person. And then TV Highway. So I'll have more to report some of the committees. Seems like all the committees are happening next week. And with that, I turn it to you, Chair Harrington.
Anything, Commissioner Rogers?
Keep thinking of somebody in a black mask that's sticking us up the way you described to give us our money. Huh? Well, it's an interesting analogy. Last week, was with the chair at the Family Promise Tiger Shelter opening. Nice facility. Last Thursday. Your remarks were well received. She did a nice job as usual. Did get a little weird at one point, I have to tell you, where she explained to the crowd she was going to take her clothes off and run down the street.
Well, actually, the way I position
Okay, you can explain that.
is that we don't tend to get media press on all the positive work that's happening, which is making me wonder if I need to take my clothes off at one of these events in order to get the media's attention.
You actually said that, Chair Harrington.
Yes, like I said, makes me wonder if, not that I would,
Is that why-
or that I want to, or that
Please
I was offering, but it's like, what does it take?
Does that explain why you've been getting media calls recently?
Yes, you did say earlier.
Yep, I've been contacted by the media, but
It was-
not for that
It
reason.
was a little strange, but it was well received.
Didn't get a chuckle out of the
Mm.
group. So I'm not
didn't.
sure if the lesson is don't bother getting a chuckle out of the group or
Yeah.
we'll be trying harder.
Our Carrie.
We got Roy's attention.
You did. I heard it on Friday. I went to Mike McKillop's events and Tualatin on all of our behalves. It was well done. It wasn't really a program. It was just a lot of people milling around. That was a lot of family members I didn't know. A lot of old Tualatin people I'd worked with years ago. Stephen Rhodes was there. You know him from being here, and he had flown up for that event. There were other jurisdictions in the north folks from Clean Water Services. This week I have another meeting with light week, another meeting with the Finance Committee for our friends at Work Systems Inc. Still trying to deal with salary compression among various levels. Pam, you probably remember when you were there. Some of the issues that were going on with all of that. I just lost my calendar spots, but that's okay. By Friday night, I know I've got a event down in Tualatin. They have their annual business awards. I'll go and observe that, and that's probably. I'll turn it over to you. If you can explain out of why you didn't. Well, no, forget it.
Have no fear, I am fully clothed.
Yeah.
So, there are a few things that I want to mention. Last week, we had a special meeting of the Washington County Visitors Association, now known as Experience Tualatin Valley. and the special meeting was for the WCVA board members to consider providing a $2 million grant to the HOPs towards their goal of building a new stadium. A few items that were shared with us in that verbal presentation is that the team, if I caught it correctly, the team's presence provides for year-round 22,000 hotel room nights per year. They also shared information about where this venue would stack up in terms of concert venues. At the top of the list is the Modus Center, followed by Providence Park, then the amphitheater, I think at Clark County, and then the Hops Field, and then below that would be Bend, but the Bend venue is much smaller, only 3,000 to 5,000 max. Whereas there will be 6,000 ballpark seats, and then their renderings for concerts show all of the grounds being utilized as well. They're currently at the 60% design milestone, which has them confident in their $125 million cost estimate. Given the board's position for the county's direction of $1 million of TLT towards this project, should it move forward with subsequent to the legislature's ask, this $2 million, I voted in support of this $2 million grant as your representative. Yeah, yeah. So that was that one. Friday morning was the first convening of the Metro Regional Housing Stakeholder Advisory Table to look at the situation of the need for regional affordable housing and what, if anything, might the COO recommend to the Metro Council. I scanned in, so we were provided with a hard copy of the presentations, not electronic version. So I took that hard copy and I forwarded it to you by email, as well as the whiteboard that was developed as a result of small group conversations. And the small group conversations, the questions are in the slide deck about hope, vision, and I can't remember what the third question was. Also on that, you'll notice on the agenda that it talks about upcoming meetings and what Metro's plan is for the purpose of each of those meetings. We do have some open questions with regard to, given that we're advisory to the COO, will Metro be allowing for any public comment during these future meetings, and what other opportunities, or is there an opportunity for the stakeholder advisory group to make requests for information or presentation as well? So all stay tuned.
Could I just comment?
Absolutely.
Driving home last night from Acre, I was listening to NPR, and yesterday, Think Out Loud, that was their focus. And I would, if others.
Statewide though, wasn't it?
No.
Just regional?
It was this regional. And I took issue with a number of the comments that were made by Nigel Jaquist in relationship to how counties have spent the money. So I just.
Oh, so it was about the supportive housing services measure?
It's about moving. It's about what the stakeholder group is about. It's about whether or not Metro should move any money out of the stakeholder group into affordable housing. Excuse me, not the SHS into affordable housing.
So that is not enumerated on the meeting schedule. Certainly Metro's forecast has intimated that, and certain Metro counselors have posed the question and have phrased it as it's been represented in the media, phrased as, well, this is excess revenue. What you're highlighting it is from the county standpoint, that's not excess revenue at all. So
That's exactly my point. And I think I just want us all to be aware of what the perception is through the media about this issue.
So I've been working with our staff to put together a communications plan and an information set so that we are better able to tell that story. We already have had a public meeting around adjustments to the year 3 work plan and proposals to our staff or from us, support from us as they develop the year 4 work plan. That was a presentation while I was on vacation because I went back and watched it. So it's a public presentation from a Board of Commissioners January meeting. That is fully available to say, look, we've been learning a lot about what it takes to end chronic homelessness and achieve net zero homelessness. And that requires additional investments. Our team's already been making those adjustments, but we're having quite the challenge to get that information presented to and understood by the Metro Council. As far as I can tell, unlike us, where we have these topics at work session or at business meetings, the Metro Council has chosen to have what they call 2-on-1 meetings with regard to SHS. So it's a very difficult situation.
I just wanted to raise awareness of what's happening.
Yep. And any conversations we have with any members of the Metro Council from any of us should encourage them to get better familiar with the information that we've had available to us. And I know each of you, myself, and our staff are willing to sit down with them and help them understand the good work, the good results that are going on here in Washington County. And I know from sitting through the 3 county presentations, from the annual reports last October, November, that all 3 counties are making good progress.
Mhm.
So, the steering committee meeting for SHS on Monday, I zoomed in to while I was still on the East Coast, and they're finalizing their report and issuing that to the Metro Council next week. And will be coming and presenting that to us, I think, in April, hopefully. But they've chosen to play the role of, despite progress and implementation plans, to play a critical role. And so it just makes that communication situation more difficult. So, I'm not a fan of the Metro COO choosing to say counties are struggling, but those are her chosen words. We had the monthly chair mayors meeting yesterday. I want to thank Aaron Calvert for coming and initiating the Washington County mayors to our forming jail capacity planning project. They know it's very early days, but they're pleased to be consulted and our next steps moving forward. It'll be coming back to us next, or again, for further formation on charter and committee formation proposals. There was an unfortunate snafu with regard to agenda topics. I don't know if any of us as commissioners had the opportunity to attend the housing summit, an all-day summit that was put on in early November. I think we might have had a roundtable.
There was some conflict there.
Yeah. And so reps from HBA, PMAR, and a lobbyist from some other group came and presented the summary. So I owe that report back to the mayors just as a convenient dissemination point. And I'll make sure you've got it as well. So, and so tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm flying to Maine tomorrow to attend a family wake and funeral. Friday and Saturday, I will be zooming into our roundtable. And I know one of the things I'll be doing on the plane is spending more time with the spreadsheet that staff has provided to us as a proposed BCC work plan. I would encourage all of you to take a look at that too, and let's come prepared with our questions on Thursday. I did talk to Commissioner Willie before his vacation, and I understand what he's looking forward to in terms of a quarterly layout. So we'll go from there. So I'll be on Zoom. So Commissioner Fye, I'll be relying upon you as vice chair to run the room and then just call on me as or in the case of tomorrow, 1 of 4, since Commissioner Willie's on vacation. Okay, board communication. Leadership communication. Who would like to go first?
Good afternoon now. Thank you, Chair Harrington and Board of Clean Water Services. Just a couple announcements. Clean Water Services is just busy right now with budget and the 5-year CIP, but we'll be coming to the board in April to talk about renewable natural gas. We've been working on this concept with Northwest Natural Gas for, I think Bruce Corden told me, for about 10 years now. And it looks like we're going to be able to come to a agreement, which is really exciting. So the team is going to come and talk to you in April, and we'll give you the whole briefing of what it is, why we've been interested in it. But essentially, you take the digester gas that we call biogas, and working with Northwest Natural Gas, it would be to convert that into pipeline gas, which is a pretty neat thing. So, yeah.
Which allows them to use capacity in the pipeline that they couldn't otherwise use.
Yeah, so it's really an exciting way to deal with our biogas. So, and our next best alternative is to use the biogas to turn it into electricity at Clean Water Services, but there's clearly a cost advantage to working with Northwest. So the team's really excited because there's progress being made. For Thursday's roundtable, I'm I'm a hearings officer for an abatement issue over.
One of the many roles that the CEO of the CWS plays.
Yeah, one of the strange roles I play, but so Tracy Rainey and I think Ann will come to make sure that if there's any coordination on the roundtable agenda.
Well, the good news is it's only a morning roundtable.
So they'll keep track. Thanks. Thank you. And I am preparing for my knee surgery for April 17th. So looking forward to it.
Great girl. Which reminds me, I think it's this Sunday, it's daylight savings time. So we all lose an hour of sleep. And I fly back from New England.
Oh, boy.
I'll have double coffee on
Make that a
Monday.
4-hour time.
All more reason why I'm only attending AOC by Google Meets.
Is this year the last time we're gonna have a daylight saving?
So Congress has to act too, doesn't it?
Erin is shaking her head to no, so.
Oh, it did.
It what?
It got voted down.
Oh,
Oh.
I thought it barely passed. It was gonna buy. Making traction. That's what the news said.
so none of the audience participation is happening on the mic, sadly, for that.
Okay, I'll jump in. So we have been busy with department budget presentations, and I just want to share that our One Washington County team is really busy delivering services to our community. These are services we should be all proud of. You heard today just our disabilities group and highlighting what a wonderful proclamation, making a difference in people's lives. And that was really the theme that I heard across each and every department, and the commitment of staff from all levels. Internally, there were some changes in our internal process this year, so that we held department presentations over 3 days, so that I heard every department this year, and it provided opportunity if department directors wanted to listen to other departments, they could listen to those presentations. So really embodying that One Washington County perspective. We are making changes in the budget tool this year. And the budget tool will be embedded throughout the budget documents so that your board can see the great work that we are doing to advance diverse community, equitable communities in the services that we provide. And each of the departments put thoughtful work in. How are we continuing to advance equity? Because we are in a situation, the reality is we need to balance. I need to present you, the budget committee, with a proposed budget. And so the flat 3% and 5% scenarios will allow that, I'll call it thoughtful homework, just as I believe we did as a team last year. And of course, there will be choices. And so many times our equity work does not mean we have to do new things or more things. It can be changing how we approach our work based on outcomes. And I'm just confident that will be seen again this year in service to the community and advancing Washington County's service portfolio, even given the funds that we have. To that end, I have been told that the additional judge for Washington County that is awaiting the governor's signature. And so on Monday, we do have a One Washington County team meeting to discuss what is the short-term plan. I'll call for a very, very temporary courtroom, and then a second temporary courtroom. And the reason I call it second, because we do need to keep in still the long view, a new courthouse ultimately. So once we know what the plan is for a courtroom to accommodate this judge, we'll be coming back to your board with more information and how we can problem solve that and approach that. As a reminder, Jared, did you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, the earliest there will be a new courthouse would be like 2030 or so. So I think the word temporary is more like short term.
True.
No,
Well,
I
well,
wouldn't use
can I
the
say-
word
So
temporary.
so temporary, because we are not going to have a new courtroom built tomorrow. So
Oh,
the
I get
judge,
that.
yeah.
But once we have a solution in place, it's probably going to exist for 7 years.
Oh, yes, at least, yeah.
Mhm.
As a reminder, I will not be at your board's roundtable on Thursday. I will be in Vancouver, British Columbia for the ICMA quarterly board meeting. Danny will be serving in my absence Thursday through Sunday, and that concludes it.
Get some sun up there. I so miss it here.
Snowing up there.
No, I checked the weather.
What's this
Oh.
time?
No sun,
Bummer.
Whistler just got cold.
Okay.
no sun.
Good afternoon, board. Couple of things to report. One Washington County approach. We have been working with our GR team frantically through this session. Hopefully we're at the finish line soon, but daily communications with the GR is on. Variety of bills and changes, but that will, again, knock on wood, following week. So I wanted to share.
Well, it has to end by Sunday.
Yeah, it has to end by Sunday. I will not prognosticate. That's challenging.
But
wanted
your
to-
work in figuring out what the approved bill's going to the governor. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I get it.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you to Courtney for filling in for me today at the board meeting. I'm having some personal issues right now, so she's been great filling in. And I wanted to, Jason left, but I wanted to let you know that Jason has been promoted to a deputy position as well, filling my deputy position. So now we have 2 deputies, Courtney Dreesen and Jason Bush. That's all I'll say right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, yes, thank you. So, I think we may need Meta up here to fill in a couple of gaps. Because I can't remember the timing on this letter, with regard to an upcoming Board of Forestry meeting. But I know that Commissioner Willie has been participating in the conversations with the governor's office and that there is a future date for a Board of Forestry meeting and the state forest. Well, were one of you going to provide the overview? Because I know I'm doing it in a sketchy fashion.
Thank you, Chair Harrington. For the record, my name is Maida Pula. I am staff assistant for the Board of Commissioners. If you would like a brief overview of the timeline, my understanding is that the Board of Forestry will be meeting tomorrow, Wednesday, March 6th, to hear some pre-testimony from various organizations, including FTLAC, which we are hoping, if the board approves this letter, will be part of the FTLAC packet. And then that will be shared with the Board of Forestry for tomorrow. And then on Thursday, February 7th, March 7th, still in a different time period. So Thursday, March 7th, the state forester will be sharing his recommendation. And then they'll be followed by public testimony, and then the board will be voting.
Yeah. So our letter, should we choose to approve a letter today, would be useful through that process.
Yes, we spoke to Brandon Persinger from FTLAC, and he said he's happy to put the letter into their packet for review.
Great, great. So the letter was sent to us and also included in our packet. I know I'm thumbs up in terms of submitting this, though I do want to hear my colleagues' thoughts. And the one thing I know, it's positioned as Commissioner Willie would so let's see, it would be the bottom of page 2. And remember, or is the enemy of and. I'm not a fan of including that sentence in the letter. Our first paragraph says we have deep concerns for the proposed conservation plan, and this bottom paragraph is supported by facts above it that we need this HCP to be environmentally successful and not devastatingly destructive to counties and special districts. And I would maybe also add in that sentence to the health of Oregon's timber industry as well. But
I agree with you. I think we could eliminate that first sentence in the last paragraph and it would still read the same way. But I did see Jerry's face when I read that.
Yeah.
The other question that I have is, are we talking about it being devastatingly destructive to the economic health of the counties and special districts? And that's the other piece that I don't know if we want to include that. Otherwise, you could determine, or you could interpret that devastatingly destructive could be around wildfires, all sorts of other. That's just what came to my mind. I don't know if that is needed, but I believe that's what we're talking about. I think it might add value to it.
Well, I think, or possibly, I'm not a big fan of wordsmithing, but, and not devastatingly monetarily.
I just think, I just want to put some friends around what the destruction is about.
Yep.
You can also change it to not devastatingly disruptive to the physical health of counties and special districts.
Except that it's counties with a little c, not counties as just local government, right? Because having mills in the geography of counties.
That's why I was thinking about economic from the standpoint of
Yeah.
workforce and all different pieces.
Yeah, that could be a better way to put it then. Yeah.
Respective to the economies, of counties and special districts.
Yep.
Economic health or
Other commissioner thoughts
I'm thumbs up on this.
with those changes then thumbs up? So it's Commissioner Five and Commissioner Rogers. Great.
Thank you, board.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think that's it, if I'm remembering the agenda right. Does anybody have anything else? No, I think we are adjourned for the day. Woohoo! Have a
Travel
good
safe.
afternoon.
Travel safe.